I'm going to do a little magazine testing with this AR-15. This is an Anderson lower and an Anderson upper. It's a DPMS Government Barrel. It's a 14.5-inch barrel, chromed, pinned and welded suppressor adapter. This rifle has a Osprey Defense piston system. It's carbine length. The rifle's been very reliable, other than it's a little fussy magazine feeding. And I changed a couple things. I went with a captive spring buffer, and that seems to have helped it quite a bit. So what I want to do today is to try some of the magazines that were a little bit touchy before and see if we can get them to run a little bit better. These 10-round ASC magazines were providing quite a challenge, so we'll give them a try. Start with 5 rounds in one. This is a bobsbulk223bullets.com, and it's 27.1 grains of CFE 223. So let's go ahead and put some in a magazine here. We'll start with 5 to keep it simple and see how we do. 2, 3, 4. There's 5. Whoop, that one came out. So let's see how they run. Should probably put my brass catcher on. Otherwise I'll end up chasing brass. So let's just go ahead and put that on. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Yep, it didn't feed. It doesn't like that magazine at all. This is the problem with a brass catcher. When you start to have problems like this, it's always in the way. So let's see what we have here. There's one in the chamber, and there's one laying in here like this from the misfeed. And there it is, and it's not good when they do that. So I'm gonna have to say that it doesn't like those magazines. I don't know why, but it sure doesn't. So see, that one's in the chamber. Probably would be best to pop that out and look at it too and make sure it's not harmed. Nope, that one's fine. Now let's try again. Let's try it with only 3 in there, but that particular bullet in these magazines has been a real challenge. It just will not feed them. It's in all the way. It just doesn't like those magazines. I don't know if it's the shape of the follower. I don't know what it is. There's something about it certainly does not like. They didn't even feed it with those few in there. Yeah, it's definitely not happy. Yep, it totally zorched that one. Okay, so that's an epic fail. So, for comparison's sake, let's go with a plain old everyday Colt magazine that has the anti-tilt follower in it, and let's see what happens. Yeah, that really put the mangle on that case. That one's okay. That one's pushed back. That one fired. So let's see what happens. I have had reasonable success with Colt magazines. Let's see, that's gonna be a problem. I have to raise that up a bit. Won't even feed out of a Colt magazine today. They're not too long. They run out of every other rifle just fine. Didn't hurt the brass any on that one. Let's take the brass catcher off. There is one in the chamber. Scooch up a little bit and try to get it into the deflector there. Okay. Let's try something different. I have had some luck with plastic magazines. I did bring one with me to try. Ran those just fine. It's magazine sensitive. So I guess that's just what you deal with. Have to pull those two when I get home. So we've actually had backwards progress, because before it ran okay with the Colt magazines, just not the short ones. It didn't like the, I can't remember the name of that company, ASC. It didn't like the ASC magazines before, but it would run with regular Colts. But so far with the captive spring, it hasn't even wanted to run with the Colt magazines. Let's try a, this is a OK, which is the people that make Colt magazines, but this one has the original followers. This is not a Magpul follower. So let's try this and see if it makes any difference. Well, that fed just fine. So, I guess sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. So let's try a different Colt magazine with a Magpul follower. Well, that ran fine. Well, let's go back now. These are a little dirtier because they had, I was shooting them with a can, but let's run 10 more through one of those and see what happens. So at least we're back to where the Colt magazines are running okay. So it's not totally negative progress. Alright, well, back to the drawing board. We're right back where we started. I'm somewhat happy with the rifle. I'm not sold on the Osprey piston system yet. The rifle's quite harsh. This one is carbine length. The feel did change quite a bit when I put the captive spring in it. I've heard some people say that the captive springs are quieter. I hear, I think, more spring noise in the buffer tube with the captive spring than I do with a standard buffer. It's a different kind of noise. I need to try it in the suppressed 300 blackout and see how it feels there and what kind of noise it makes there. But as far as magazines for this rifle, so far it's been reliable with Magpul plastic magazines. It's been mostly reliable with Colt magazines with either a Magpul follower or a standard issue Colt follower. I haven't tried 20 round Colt magazines, and I haven't tried any of my 10 round Colt magazines either, but so far it does not like the ASC magazines. And I've had good performance with the ASC magazines in my other ARs, most notably my 16-inch mid-length gun. It shoots them just fine. So I think I need to test a little bit more there, maybe test a little bit different bullet shape in this. These are the bobsbulk223bullets.com. Those are the ones that I seem to have the most feeding problems with in this gun. They feed fine in every other gun that I shoot them in. This does have M4 feed ramps. I'm not seeing anything abnormal inside of it, but I don't know. We'll just keep trying, see what we can come up with later.